But if you do the things that I'm going to suggest to my son, and he doesn't rush to go and try to pass a combine. He doesn't rush to get a payout. He doesn't try to trade every single fluctuation in price. He doesn't try to do everything that I've made available to all of you, which is what most of my students try to do. They all dabble too much. And if you simply go through this simple question and answer for yourself right now, are you someone, now if you're not paying attention right now, you're distracted, you're going to miss it. But the type of person you are right now, are you someone, if someone says to you, I don't think this is possible, and it doesn't have to necessarily be trading, I don't think this is possible, or I don't think that you can do that. Are you someone that says, they're probably right? Or, I'm going to show this person they're wrong, and I'm going to show them 12 ways that why they're wrong. And I'm going to do beyond what they thought I said, or I was going to do, or I could do, and they said I couldn't do. I'm going to do more than that. Okay? Because right now we're going to divide you all as an audience, because either you're going to be someone that's going to be influenced and held back by someone else's opinion or suggestion on you, or maybe you've watched someone else receive criticism. Okay, you've watched other people receive criticism, and then you somehow latch onto that, like it was told to you, and you feel emotional about it, and you have a psychological response, and it was never directed to you, but you personify it and personalize it to yourself. That's very telling. That is a barrier for you as a trader. You may not realize it right now, but Friday I'm going to cover the contrast of all that. You may not know the answers to these things right now today because you want to think about what I'm going to tell you. And you all want to be able to say, yeah, I want to be the guy or gal that says, if you can't do this, I'm going to prove it to them, and I'm going to do this and do that. Chances are every male listening is probably going to be wanting to do that. But in honesty, all of you aren't really like that. You're influenced by other people's opinion, and it makes you feel unsure about yourself. It may be causing anxiety. It may feel embarrassment. You may feel like you don't feel like you're going to do well because of someone else's opinion about you. Or you have that spark, that inspiration, that, well, kicking the hinder parts, if you will, to now do something because it's a challenge that's been laid in your hands. It's like, now this is what it's like for me when I listen to other people. When they say this can't be done or no one can do that, I am the person, my personality is you tell me that can't be done or that I can't do something, my mind immediately switches on. I'm in predator mode. Like I'm in there looking for every way to come back at them and say, this is how you're wrong. And you were wrong here, and you were wrong here, and you were wrong there, and you were wrong there, here, there, everywhere. And I want to bury them in it. That's my mentality. And that's not a strength. That's just how I interact with outside influences. And that stems from a childhood that I had no control over the factors and environments that I was left in, which were dangerous and they were hostile. So as an adult, now I seek control all the time. I am a control freak. Everything in every aspect of my life, I have to have control over it. If I don't have any control over it, I have no interest in it. That's my disposition. That's how I am. You may not be that way. You may be very, very passive, and you may be very lethargic in terms of responding to things that are met as a challenge towards you. And you may be using that very perception about the marketplace, and that's your hindrance. That's the barrier that you have to, if you have that mentality, you're going to have to break through that. And it's not going to be easy for you, because what you're seeing is most people fail doing this. Most people are not consistent. Most people can't even determine where the market's going to go, let alone get in it without having stopped out or managed risk appropriately. That's the majority. That's the truth about this industry. Very, very, very few people can do this consistently. And you know this, but you're still willing to watch videos. You're still willing to try to practice and dabble because you're waiting for some kind of magical thing to occur where it clicks for you. With no real effort, with no real study, with no real logging and journaling, you think it's just going to happen for you. That's not realistic. So part of this mentorship will be using the tools and resources of journaling properly. But what is it you're supposed to be journaling anyway? Because if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where the market's going to go next, because you don't know bias, you don't know profiling, you don't know session characteristics, day of week characteristics, seasonal tendencies, all those things. I'm going to present it in a nice, neat little package, but it cannot be done in one video. I don't care how many people go on YouTube and try to say, I watched all of ICT's videos and now I'm going to show you in 5 minutes how you can do it, and you don't have to do that. I promise you, okay, here it is, $500,000, okay, go out there, you don't know what you're doing right now, go out there and watch one of the 5-minute trainer YouTubers, okay, and you got 4 weeks to pass a combine and make $100,000 by the end of the year. If you can prove that, I will give you $500,000. I will drive to your location as long as you're in the States. I will drive, because I don't fly, I'll drive to your place and you can live stream me giving you a $500,000 bank check, okay? That stuff doesn't work, folks. You're going to have to put some real effort into it. You can't condense it. You can't reduce it down. Okay? And a lot of people don't realize what I just did. I just made a lot of those guys mad, and now they're all going to really do their little micro mentorships. And really what that does is going to bring more traction back to this mentorship, because they're going to work for free. But anyway, see that? Everything's predetermined. He's maniacal. He's a mastermind. He's diabolical. Anyway. The very first step is for you to determine where you are mentally, and then determine ahead of time, preparing yourself what adversities are going to be in front of you. For the folks that are saying, okay, you say I can't do this, or someone else is saying that you can't do this, you're going to go at it 100 miles an hour. That's good that you have confidence in yourself, but the problem is you're going to overstep that and become overconfident. And then as soon as you're met with that first adversity, it's going to really hold you down, and it's going to cause you to second guess the next step of stepping out there in faith and determining what it is that you're trying to do or practicing. And then what you'd end up doing is the initial strength is I'm strong, I'm confident, and nobody's going to tell me I can't do it. I'm going to do it better than I would have done it if they would just invited me to do it casually. But now because they said I couldn't do it, I'm going to do a superhuman Olympic feat of it. And by doing that, what you end up doing is you increase the level of adversity, the difficulty. You put a time limit on it, which is the worst thing in the world to do. You absolutely put a time limit on how fast you should learn how to do something. As soon as someone starts telling you, I'm going to teach you how to do ICT or anything else in this number of days, absolutely, I promise you, they are full of grade A manure. They're lying to you. That's clicks for money. They want you to either buy something they're going to upsell to you later on, or they want you to keep watching their videos that are not going to help you. They may be entertaining, but they're not going to supercharge your understanding. They're not going to make you faster at learning it, okay? The only thing they're doing is trying to capitalize on a market that's huge right now, which is TikTok mentality. 10-second, 15-second, 30-second time span of attention span. And I have no patience for anyone. Zero patience for anyone as a student that thinks like that. I broom them quickly. I get them out of my face. I don't want to have any interaction with them because you're absolutely lazy. You're absolutely lazy. You want it easy, you want it real fast, and you have unrealistic expectations. And anyone that has common sense will tell you that that is someone that will not be successful. Period. End of story. If you don't want to warm up to the idea of how to do this properly and understand, really understand, that's what mentorship is, understanding how you're going to most likely interact with the marketplace, what's a reasonable response to you for you feeling this way or that way should the market produce an outcome that was either favorable or not favorable for you. How are you going to interact with? Let's say the first time you sit down and you try to test something and it takes off and runs like 150 handles in the NASDAQ. What's that going to feel like for you? you're going to feel ecstatic. You're going to be excited. And you're going to feel like, wow, this is a whole lot easier than I thought. And that's wrong. But see, that's the problem with these 20-year-olds that teach. They want you to have the emotional stimuli, because that emotional stimuli gives you a rush. It's dopamine. It gives you that physical, feel-good butterfly moment that does not last. It will not last. 10 minutes later, you're not buzzing by that right call that you made, that demo trade that you made, or that you just passed your combine. You all think that I got to get my combine passed and then I can start trading on an account where I can make profitable trades. So you're willing to do everything and anything just to gamble to get it passed. And then once you get there, you think it's going to be easy, when it becomes extremely much more difficult, because now you don't want to lose that past funded account. And every candlestick looks like a foreign language to you. Even if you understand certain elements of reading price action, it will look completely different. You won't feel comfortable pushing a button, because now you're thinking, if I get in right here, what if it goes down to here? Or what if it goes to this high here? Where do I put my stop loss? I don't want to get stopped out, but I got to use a stop. And see, what are you doing? You're trying to protect yourself from a losing trade, because that losing trade, even if it's small in denomination, if it's small in amount of really, dollar risk, the lasting impact and the depths of how far it digs into your backside, it's monstrous, because you're creating a demon. You're manifesting your worst adversary, because you didn't do everything that I'm suggesting as a starting point right now. It prepares you for this. What do you think basic training is for when people go to the military? It's to get the person physically fit, to get them introduced to constant disruption, constant mental fatigue, so that way they're not shell-shocked and they get out on the battlefield and freeze up. They're used to being treated like trash, worked out, fatigued, run them, work them hard, talk down to them. There's no hope. There's no hope while you're in basic training. Well, this is what this is like here. This is basic training. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you millennials. I'm not going to be nice to you and say, honey, it's going to be okay. Let me hold you close and coddle you. ICT's got you, baby. ICT's got you. It's okay. It's okay. That's not what this is. You want to learn how to trade? You want to be consistently profitable? ICT's not going to be rubbing your shoulders for you, okay, and powdering your ass when the market's in front of you and you're ready to take a trade and it's all on you. I'm not going to be there. You have to be able to do this on your own. You have to be able to do this absolutely isolated. You have to be an island unto yourself. When everybody else is on social media saying they want to do one thing or the other, and you look at your model saying, I don't see that, you got to be completely comfortable with that. Not for the basis of just simply being a contrarian alone, but for the basis of, okay, I understand what I'm looking for, and this is just further confirmation that the herd of sheep out there are expecting this. So I know I have a lead pipe sense trade now, because every time Dick and Harry out there is wanting the market to go to this level or this direction. And here I am sitting confidently waiting for a setup that's completely diametrically opposed to what they expect. That's one of the things that I take great comfort in watching live streamers, because sometimes they get it right, and that's fine. Most of the time they aren't. And the times that I'm looking for something before I even start looking at their live stream, if it's opposed to what I'm expecting, it's a dead deal. It's over. I know I'm over the target. I know I'm right, and that's not the goal here, but I know I'm going to use the maximum leverage. Okay, so whatever my maximum leverage would be for that individual asset class or that market, I would be comfortable doing that. But initially, when you first want to do this, you want to be trading. Listen, folks, I know this is going to be unpopular, but you want to be trading with a micro. Just because that funded account says I can trade 5 contracts of the NASDAQ with $3,000 of a cushion. I want you to hear this, okay? And I mean this sincerely, and I'm not trying to be funny about it. But if you're trading more than one contract of a micro with 3,000 cushion, and you're not consistently profitable and you don't know what you're doing, you're absolutely gambling, and gamblers don't last long. You can gamble. There's a lot of people over the years with all these funded account companies. I've had students that's done this too. Paid mentorship students that have gone through it. They've passed combines. They got paid out, and then they lost it, and then it completely undid them, and they can't get it back, and you can't pass another combine. Why? What happened? Did the concept stop working? Did they change the algorithm? No. Now they have mental baggage. They have scar tissue. And now the lessons I taught in those Twitter spaces over the past couple of years, and no, I'm not on Twitter, the depths of where I was trying to take you, a lot of you haven't gone to those places yet in your trading. So the lessons just went right over your head. It doesn't apply to me. But for anyone that has actually tried to trade with real money, or had a live account or a funded account and has taken withdrawals from the marketplace, and then they lost it, now those Twitter spaces, now those talking points, those lectures like we're doing right here, they are much more meaningful, and they're impactful, and they are helpful. But when you have a millennial that wants to go out here and say, "Hey, look, man, this guy's full of crap. You know, he's talking too much. He ain't done anything. He ain't pushing any buttons. How am I going to learn from somebody like that? I need somebody who's going to show me what to do so I can copy them. That's me learning." No, that's not you learning. That's how you grow codependent. And I don't want any of you to be codependent. I want you to be able to walk out there and say, this is what I see potentially unfolding in the marketplace today. So I'm going to build an idea on how the market may, in fact, set this up. And if I understand that this is where it's likely to go, and what I mean by that is, where's the draw on liquidity? Where's the market likely to go? You know, what are we looking for in terms of potential expectations and where the market could trade to? And that could be something like this. We go to, we have relative equal highs right here. Okay. Very simple, smooth price level. The market's gone down a lot. Several thousand handles. Okay. We had a huge gap, new week opening gap here. So where we settled on Friday and where we opened on Sunday at 6 o'clock last night, Eastern time in the States. That new week opening gap, that's a draw on liquidity. But we don't need it to trade all the way up to there. So where is the low-hanging fruit objectives for just short-term bias? This is what I'm teaching you, Caleb, initially. I want you to think about where the market could draw to right now, where it could go to next. And what that does is it gives you something to focus on. And it also gives you a way of measuring every individual candle's formation and what your expectation is as it's forming, and what the next candles should do and how they behave and what it feels like for you when you do this. Because whether you want to admit it or not, when you're first starting, the majority of your time is going to be spent in uncertainty, in times of confusion. It's going to be fearful. It's going to be, well, it's going to feel very anxious. You'll feel anxious. You may even start feeling body symptoms of tinglingness, lightheadedness, feel like you're going to get sick. And you may still only be in a demo, because what you're doing is you're elevating the outcome to a level that is not expected. You don't need to put that much pressure on you. In fact, if that's how you're thinking, it's normal for you to feel that way when you first start trading with a real account. That's a normal thing, but there's no way around it.